Hi guys, welcome back to a new video on the channel. Now today, as you can see by the title, this is the League One playoffs that I'm doing today. So we've got the four teams. We have Portsmouth, we have Oxford United, we have Fleetwood, and we have Wycombe. I'll be having a look at all four of the teams and giving you a little bit, like I did in the last video with the League Two, a little bit of a sort of a background and what I think will happen in the playoffs. I'll state to begin with, Oxford United fans watching, don't worry. Yes, I do support Reading, but there will be no nastiness or evilness in the video. At the end of the day, you've done extremely well to get to the playoffs, and it'll be nothing but an honest review or look ahead to the games. So we are going to start with Oxford United and Portsmouth. Portsmouth are at home in this first leg. Oxford United away, although as we saw with Northampton at Cheltenham, it doesn't matter in the first leg. Really, the second leg counts more. So having a look at the form, Oxford United are on a much better run of form. 83% is their form. They've won 5 of the last 6. Portsmouth, on the other hand, have only won 2 of their last 6, to be fair. When playing at home, Portsmouth have not lost to Oxford in their 3 encounters this season. Oxford have a winning streak of 5, which I've already said. During the last 10 meetings with Portsmouth playing at home, Portsmouth have won 4 times. There have been 4 draws and 2 wins for Oxford. The goal difference is 16 to 12 in favour of Portsmouth. So, high scoring games between the two teams. We'll have a look at their scores in a minute, but that's given me a lot to think about as I predict this first leg. So going into the last meetings, as it says here, we've had Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1. We've had Portsmouth 5-4 winners, but that was in the trophy. Oxford won 2-1, 4-1 to Portsmouth, 3-0 Portsmouth and 3-0 Oxford. So as that shows there, they're very high scoring games between these two sides. That has been reflected in my prediction today. So looking now at the last few matches for them, for Oxford, they've won 3-2 against Shrewsbury, they won 2-1 against Southend, 3-0 against Accrington, 1-0 away at Ipswich, 5-0 at home to Wimbledon, and 1-0 they lost to Sunderland, but that was their only defeat in the last 6. For Portsmouth, they drew 2-2 with Fleetwood, they lost 2-0 to Peterborough, 2-0 to Arsenal, but that's the FA Cup, 3-0 they won at home to Rochdale, 3-1 at home to Milton Keynes, and pivotally in a way, they lost 1-0 to Fleetwood, who are one of the other 2 teams in the playoffs. So they could face them in the final if they were to get there. So looking at that, that's not too bad for the two sides. Looking into the players now for Oxford, Matty Taylor, James Henry, Taku Fosu, who is actually not at the club now, and Cameron Brannigan are their top scorers this season. As for Portsmouth, you've got Roman Curtis, John McQueese, Gareth Evans as their top goal scorers. Also, a little side note for Oxford United, there are a few ex-Reading players that are now playing for Oxford, so obviously I wish them all the best, especially Kelly, great little player, just didn't quite work out at Reading for him. And James Henry is one of our old players as well, so there's a few players to watch out for tonight. So that brings us on to my prediction. Okay, so I've had a look at this in a lot of detail, and I think there's going to be quite a few goals tonight. But I have predicted a 3-2 win for Portsmouth. Nothing against Oxford at all. I think that this game is going to be very close, but I think there's going to be quite a few goals in it. So I've gone with 3-2 Portsmouth for this first leg. The second leg, I haven't predicted yet. Of course, we don't really know what's going on. But I have got Portsmouth to win the tie over the course of the 2 games. That's nothing against Oxford at all. They are a very, very strong side, and they've done really well to get into these playoffs. But in a way, the form does go a little bit out the window, and players do play better. So I'm not saying that Oxford won't make the playoff final. I'm not saying that they won't win it. It's just a prediction. I do honestly wish them both the best of luck. So we move on to the other game tonight. That's the early kickoff. So the late kickoff at 7:30 is Fleetwood Town at home to Wycombe. So congratulations to those two for making the final, if my laptop works. Wonderful. So Fleetwood Town's form, they're 75%. So they're on a better form than Wycombe. Wycombe on 50%. Fleetwood have won 3 and drawn 3, so they're unbeaten in 6 going into this. Wycombe Wanderers have won 3 as well, but they lost the other 3, so it's a little bit inconsistent for them. The 2 meetings this season, it's been a win for Fleetwood and a draw. And then the last few meetings between the sides have been very low scoring games, 1-1 and 1-0 respectively. So that's something that I may have to take into consideration as well when I do the prediction in a minute. So the last few matches, for Wycombe, they lost 3-1 to Doncaster. They won 3-1 against Tranmere. They lost, so they won 2-0 away at Bolton. They lost 1-0 to Fleetwood, so that could be interesting. They won 3-1 against Bristol Rovers and lost 2-0 away at Milton Keynes. Sorry, my beard is trying to get out. As for Fleetwood, we have a 2-2 draw with Portsmouth. We have a 0-0 draw with Blackpool. They've then won 1-0 away at Ipswich, drawn 1-1 with Sunderland, won 1-0 at home to Portsmouth, and 2-1 at home to Peterborough. So they are on seriously good form at the moment. So that being said, we're having a look now at the players involved. For Wycombe, obviously, Akinfenwa, he is dangerous. If you leave him free in the box, he is a beast, but he's a very, very strong player for his size, and he's very quick as well for his size, and he's very good. So he's a danger. They've got Joe Jacobson, another good player as well. Fred Onendina, another good player of theirs. As for Fleetwood, Paddy Maiden, Ched Evans and Josh Morris. We know a lot about these players. Ched Evans is obviously a little bit of a controversial one, but I won't get into that. So it's going to be a very, very interesting match tonight. So as for my prediction, well, I don't think there's going to be very many goals in this game. So I've actually gone with a 1-0 win for Fleetwood Town. They are on very, very, very strong form. I've also got Fleetwood Town to win the tie across the 2 legs. So yes, my playoff final in League One is Portsmouth versus Fleetwood, and sticking my neck out on the line, I think Portsmouth will be promoted to the Championship. But just a prediction, not saying it's going to be right. It could be completely wrong. So we shall see. As I remember predicting Cheltenham to beat Northampton, and a wonderful comment when they won 3, just put there perfectly. So that's all superb there, guys. So looking at the 4 teams, Fleetwood are going into this in very good form. Wycombe managed to sneak in there, so their form hasn't been superb. Oxford have been on a great run of form, and so have Portsmouth. So it's going to be a really entertaining set of playoffs. I want to make this very, very clear. I wish all the very best to Oxford United, to Wycombe Wanderers, to Fleetwood Town and to Portsmouth in these playoffs. All the best, guys. And, well, I was going to say look forward to seeing you playing Reading next season, but the way that we're finishing the season, we could be swapping places. So all the best to you guys in the playoffs tonight and next week. There will obviously be a review of these games as well, and then the prediction videos coming up. So stick with the channel, guys. Thank you again to the new subscribers. Please like and subscribe if you're new around here. Let me know what you think of the video down in the comments. Also, if you're a supporter of one of the teams, let me know how you guys feel you get on. Oxford fans, I do wish you all the best. Like I say, I could be horrible and nasty, but that's not the kind of Reading fan I am. So all the best to you guys, and enjoy the games, guys, and take care.